Hi, Aquarius, and happy birthday. Welcome back. Welcome to Aquarius season, and I'm sorry you didn't get a reading last month. My bad. I'm going to drink a little water out of my special pitcher here that I've made before our podcast this evening about water crystals, abundance, and sacred geometry. We're going to tie that into cymatics, which has become quite popular, but I'm sure most Aquarians already know what that is, and how it relates to things like the vector heart sweatshirt, which I burned a hole in right where the heart center is just a minute ago, which is kind of funny. Hole in the heart vibes. But the vector heart sweatshirt, especially I find the black one people find the most soothing, has to do with, and I have been having this chakra pain, so that's interesting, has to do with the vector heart guided meditation, which is based on the ancient Chinese 8 gates meditation, and it is a shamanistic meditation in which you fall behind the valves of your heart, and the sweatshirt aids in the process. How? By affecting your water crystals, and that's what we'll talk about tonight. So now you have a little background on what I'm wearing, which you can get at the Revolution merch shop. There is a rolling trailer below, or from the website if you'd like. You're probably going to see me wearing these in different colors. Now, what is going on and why start with that? It seems unrelated, but it's not. It's about alignment. All of these different tools are ways that we have figured out through very Aquarian means what this universe may be made of, what the blocks look like that make it up, what shapes they are, like the vector. Ah, very nice. That was easy. Ace of Pentacles, the Hierophant, 9 of Swords. Okay, so money, stability, replacing a recent sadness and a recent betrayal. And then the Star card. So moving on in a pretty extreme fashion from something that was revelatory. Something has been found out. It may feel for you, Aquarius, like you have been stuck in some weird cycle of like, is there more to find out? Is there still more to, how big of an onion is this? How many layers are there to this? So if you've been feeling that way, rejoice, because it looks like there is a replacing of the 9 of Swords and the 7 of Swords with quite a lot of stable energy, money, and looks like a stable relationship. Now, whatever it is that you're finding out about, bottom of the deck, 5 of Swords, whatever it is that you found out, whatever was revealed, no matter how painful it may seem, under that is the Wheel of Fortune. That kind of goes with the Ace of Pentacles and the Hierophant. So things that seem terrible, truths that seem too shocking, things that may really rock the nature, the gentle nature that you have, and yet you come into your own in such a big way by experiencing those things or by realizing that stuff. Now, if what you're realizing has more to do with work, ambitions, family, I can see how the 9 of Swords, you could get stuck there, because what can you do? You know, if it's an outside institution, or if you're finding yourself pitched against the government, if you're just really angry about how things are, and you feel betrayed on a societal level, of course that's what this could be. It doesn't always have to be about relationships. It doesn't always have to be about money, especially not with you guys. So it definitely could be something much more ideological. You know, you're in a dispute with an organization or a group or a person that has caused you quite a lot of pain, and it may be just because of the way they move. You cannot appreciate the way they move. And the Hierophant and the Ace of Pentacles is also about being given the opportunity to say so. If you feel a certain type of way and you've been holding it and carrying it around and carrying it around, this is probably a really good time to, well, let me put it this way. Maybe the reason you haven't been able to put it down is because you haven't expressed it. Maybe if you express it, you'll be able to let go of it. So bearing it, being magnanimous and saying, okay, well, this doesn't really bother me. Okay, but it has caused you a lot of pain. But okay, it doesn't bother you. I get it. And yet, if you find yourself saying that, but you can't let go of something, it keeps coming up, it haunts you in a way, maybe you need to talk about it. Maybe you need to write about it. Maybe you need to write about it so you can read it yourself and say, okay, wow, I am really bothered by this, or this did really, really hurt my feelings, or I know I shouldn't feel this way, but this thing that may seem small to other people really bothered me or really hurt me, or the way that this entire thing was handled really. So there's a letting go through using the voice, through communicating. And there's, obviously there's a lot of good stuff. But I think that the frustration comes not from lack of good things to begin with. That's why I hesitate to say it, because it's so redundant. I don't think that anything that you're feeling right now, anything you're being emotional about, has to do with a lack of anything. It's the principle of the thing that's bothering you guys. You just don't get it. You don't get how people are behaving. And it's really bothering you. And I can see that because the signs are such a reaction to each other. So you can be really disconcerted in Capricorn season because it just seems like nobody makes any sense. Everybody is driven by the wrong ideals. They don't get it. So coming out of a season of, oh my God, nobody seems to get it, into, oh my God, nobody seems to get it, but I get it. Before it's, oh my God, nobody seems to get it, but I get it. And now it's the same, except this time it's true. Before it's you who doesn't get it. In Capricorn season, it's Aquarius that doesn't get it. That's why it's just easier to keep your head down and keep it moving. But in your season, everybody else flounders. Everybody else is faced with some decision or other in which they should make the philosophically sound choice, in which if they were to make the more abstract, more brave choice, they would stand to benefit greatly. And yet so few people can. So few people can cross the bridge that Aquarius presents between what we cling to and what we know, and what could be, and what ultimately will be, because of things like the Aquarian spirit, the relentlessness of, no, it has to be better than this. It cannot be just this. This is not as good as it gets. Excuse me. So, let us continue. Why the hearts? Well, Aquarius, happy birthday. In your birthday reading, you are there. And you are there with some heavy hitters, right? These are all cards of great abundance. Remember, nobody's richer than the Pope, right? So why the hearts? Well, it has been my experience that with great abundance in one area comes great abundance in other areas if you allow it. The 9 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords, needing to be expressed through that Taurus energy, using your voice, will free you in perhaps the only area in which there hasn't been abundance, because you were just holding a block there. The good news is, in a couple of days from now, The eclipse energy will totally clear that block. And you'll see yourself and whoever caused the block, whatever caused the block, in a completely different way. I'm not saying you'll be grateful, but you'll get there. But for the time being, you'll just see it as it really is. And that's refreshing, because I think for a lot of you, what you've craved and what you've wanted more than anything is, let me just know the truth. Let me just see what it really is. Yeah, it's the Hierophant card. It's also a card of marriage. It's a card of settling down and being serious and getting your life together and, well, and learning from these past mistakes that have caused so much pain, where others were wrong, where you were wrong. That's what I mean. You'll look back at whatever has held you back in pain and think, ah, so that's what my part was. That's what their part was. That's what wasn't my fault. You know, because sometimes what you guys can do, the gentle have a tendency to want to carry everybody else's stuff on their shoulders because it's easier and gentler on others and yet so very hard on you. You know, I don't go in for all that. But okay, that's you guys. And yet, you must leave behind that which you, I don't know, you've been thinking about it forever. These are things they don't even make sense to hold on to anymore. Fears, phobias almost that a person develops, or dislikes that a person develops because of this or that happened, or, you know, we have this referential knowledge that we live with and that we learn with and that we learn from. And it's terrifying to think, well, if I lose that foundational knowledge in something that was so painful and taught me such a harsh lesson and became foundational knowledge, and I'm cognizant of that, and I know when I'm out there in the world and I'm dealing with people that I have this base of knowing that this type of person or this type of situation can never happen to me again. We sometimes cannot see how that is less helpful and more perhaps, you know, you putting like a slab of cement over that, you know, the hole that leads to your heart. You know, like the rabbit hole that one must jump into to be in love with an Aquarius. So I don't know if there's a way for you to love while holding on to the past, because the Aquarius is the child and it is the slightly older, you know, it's that like precocious teenager who's really, really smart and wants to be their own person and have their own ideals. And it's really hard to do that and be everybody else's. And it's really hard to do that while hanging on to the past. And that's the most important thing. Kids don't hang on to the past. They're very resilient. And so if uncharacteristically, you know, if there has been something that's just been awfully, awfully hard to let go of, and you can feel it, you know, in your gut, it's slipping away and you know it, well, the eclipse will wash it away and you will acquiesce and you will be okay with it because you know how much good will come from it. And yet you also know in your gut that there is a fight brewing, because when you express yourself about something, it's not always the easiest ride. Now, Aquarius, if you're dealing with a Taurus specifically, it looks really good. And especially if it's a Taurus who has money, because it really does look like they want to see you win. Right? So if you're specifically looking for one person, or if you're cross-watching for an Aquarius, what would I say? Well, if you're the person who has more, get yourself a water jar like mine and write kind on it, because that's one of the things you would like to be more of. You can also realize that they are coming into quite a fantastic time and will be having a lot of people nipping at their heels. In Aquarius, you will have a lot of people nipping at your heels soon, especially in terms of work. There is conflict on the horizon, but it's not anything you can't handle, and it comes from the need to exercise your right to speak on things that have been bothering you, on things that you have let go, on things that may seem too old to talk about now, and yet you cannot forget about it. It's all this stuff that's coming back, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I so consumed with these things? I don't even care about this stuff anymore. But you do, and you loop about it, and you know it, but you're kind of just weirded out that it's coming up to a conscious part of your brain, because that part of your brain you like to keep empty so you can think about things. It's like having a really big empty table that you can bring new ideas to and take them apart, and you like keeping that space empty. And I have a lot of respect for that, because I do that too, and I understand it. It's a very good technique. But now there's like stuff coming in from the back room, in a wave, and it's just knocking everything over, and there's gunk everywhere and swamp stuff everywhere, and it's just like, why do I have to deal with this? I don't understand why this is coming up in any way at all. That's what this may feel like. Like, I really just would like to move forward with my cool ass self and do my cool ass things. And what is this that's going on? Like, it's almost like, you're like, Capricorn, can you just like back the fuck up? Can you back off me, right? Can all this energy back off me? And yet it comes in like a wave, and it comes in with such a wonderful purpose, because here you see the fruition of so many things. You may decide, Aquarius, this is the year that you may decide from one moment to the next, especially if you're dealing with an earth sign. You may decide from one moment to the next, like, okay, I think I want to get married. And then there's the Sun card here too, which is a Leo, and recently I was reading has long been associated with Geminis. So that's an interesting read on that, because of the child in the card. But I think, Aquarius, the child is you in this card. And I think that's your earth sign partner, if you have an earth sign partner. And if you don't have a partner, there might be an earth sign coming in. And if you don't care about a partner, well, the Sun and the Empress and the Star and the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Pentacles just sounds like a lot of money. And so if you're lonely, don't worry. People who have a lot of money don't tend to be lonely for long. So focus on one area and watch the other one grow on its own. Much more to say, and I want to talk about the astrology and the eclipse and everything else, but I want to do that with the paper in front of me and with the cards in front of you. So, once again, we're going to go straight from looking at the cards into the extended, because the extended is free, so why make a whole extra video? We'll just go right through. And happy birthday. I love you. I hope you like the background and the hearts and everything else. Happy made-up holidays that make you buy chocolates and lingerie. I'll be back in a second. Hi, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading / extended. Okay. So here's the deal. On February 4th, there's a new moon in your sign. So it makes sense that you have all this activity up here. It's personal, but it has to do with money too. It has to do with what the next step is going to be about in your relationship. You have to find a way now to balance all the good stuff that's coming in and what people want from you. You're going to have a hard time doing that. For a lot of you who may be thinking, hey, I wasn't betrayed by anyone. I'm not trying to get over anything. It might be parts of yourself that you're having to let go of to compromise too much with somebody else. You just got to be careful. You got to be careful with how much you are willing to allow. And the new moon comes in heavy to let you know exactly where those lines are and to let anyone in your life know, right? Now, we also have for the next couple of weeks this heavy marriage energy. And so if you're thinking of getting engaged, if you're getting married, and you're starting to get cold feet, it's just because the thing is rushing at you so hard. And I've noticed that Aquarians can be a bit contrary. you know, they want to do something. Excuse me, you guys want to do something, but then you don't really want to do it because everyone wants you to do it, but you also want to do it, but now you don't really know if you want to do it because everybody wants you to do it. It may be the season to win yourself over and let yourself do the thing that is perhaps popular, but it doesn't make it any less cool just because everybody does it. Some things everybody does because they're actually awesome, right? You have your concerns though, and I think your concerns are always about freedom. In one way or another, it's always about, I don't want to be constrained. And I think that also has to do with being fixed air. You're aware of your fixedness. And being constrained would be doubly fixed, right? This is a fixed energy, so you have to be careful. I see you weighing things out. And since we're doing the extended, let's just go ahead and do it. I see you weighing things out. And, you know, following your own instincts, sticking to what you believe a relationship should be like, even in terms of finance. That just becomes so central now. And it may lead you to some difficult places. Some of you guys are on the fence about a lot of stuff. What if you're on the fence about this Leo? Let's figure it out. Let's start with this Two of Swords and see what comes up. The indecision, the looping, yes, but we're looping about very big things right now. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say they're big things? Seems like it. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Pentacles. There is money coming in, especially towards things that things start to come to fruition in February that are rounding out. These are things you've been waiting on. So towards the end of the month, you're really feeling good. But this is what we're looking at here. And you see how the cards are hesitant? It's just because you have so much anxiety around, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever principle or ideal here is holding you back. And you don't want to talk about it. It's like, no, but that's my thing. And I don't want that. Okay. Okay. What it means to be in a relationship, what it means to be connected. You may find yourself differing. Okay. So what this looks like to me is someone who wants alone time, but the only time they're getting alone time is sad time. What do Aquarians want in a relationship? Anyone with a rudimentary knowledge of astrology knows that the answer to that question is freedom. Right? What if the only time an Aquarius is allowed to have their freedom is when they have to demand it in such a way that it becomes an issue? This looks like someone who really wants to be with someone, but still keep themselves intact. Ultimately, the Aquarian issue. But here it looks like it's personified in one person, in one specific relationship, in one area. So if this is a big business partnership, you can't seem to get the other person to carry their weight. And whenever you step away, it becomes an issue. You see how that would translate? If this is a family situation, you just don't have any freedom. And so now you're debating, do I keep the love situation and lose my freedom, which puts you here, not productive at all. Irrespective of what you get, it doesn't matter what you have if you're here. Or do I value my freedom more, or the principle, the ideal of the thing more, and perhaps cause everybody involved, including yourself, a lot of pain? Yeah, it's a big one. Like I said, it's all about ideals. So let's look at this Nine of Swords now. Where's the insight in this? The Nine of Swords is, after all, somebody, however upset, contemplating something. There are studies that show that insomnia can be good for you if you stay up and think. After a few weeks, there is some sort of a breakthrough, some insight has been gained, and the insomnia that lasted about 6 weeks goes away. Okay? But only if we let ourselves stay awake and think and not put ourselves to sleep. Okay, lots of cards. Ace of Cups. Trying out a new system here. Just want to see if it's still working. Okay, good. Ace of Cups. Ace of Swords. Okay. You can have your ideals and have love. We like that. That's a good set of insights to reach. This may be your eclipse insight right here. Good stuff. Three of Swords. Ooh, Three of Wands. I like it. From heartbreak to the ultimate Aquarian mood, the Aquarian vibe. Three of Wands. Moving forward. And what is it that helps you with this move forward? Well, it's a move forward that's done with speed. And there is this Leo moon. Yeah. Yes, yes. And then there will be the Virgo moon at the end of the month. This fire energy gives you the spunk that you need. It's the speed underneath you. It's you getting out of the looping rut about whatever it is. It's about a loss of fear. If you look at the photo on Instagram of the eclipse, you can see as it races across the red line it leaves that so many things were just cut. And from this cut emerges the new stems, like when you cut a flower diagonally, right? So you can give it more water. Things have been cut at an angle. And that angle has given you great insight and will continue to. Remember, this is something that will continue for 6 months, right? Hopefully this system, keep it together. All right, now let's move forward. Let's take a look here at this Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. Not fun, but we can get it out of the way. And then we'll look at the fun stuff. You know, Page of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Yeah, the indecision, man. The gentility of spirit. You got to stand up for yourselves is the only way that I can put it. Where people are taking from you, they're taking too much. And you have this like murky feeling of being deceived too. But you just go back and forth about whether or not to say it. And I don't know if it's about being friendly. I'm not sure. It's not enough of a big deal. But like, you know, you're being taken advantage of in some weird way. It's weird as in that it's subtle is what I mean, right? It's not the most obvious thing in the world, but you feel it all the time like a drain. And yeah, I think you're a bit, you feel out of your, like you feel small. That's what it is. You feel small or petty addressing it, but it's like not petty. It's a lot what's happening and it's hurtful to you, and it's important to acknowledge that, right? Empress. Let's see. If you've never watched an extended, the extendeds are fun. So we have this marriage energy. Now let's talk about finance. I have my notes here. Let's talk about finance. So you've got this moon, right? And it's in your house of work and health. The new moon and the full moon, so we're talking the 4th, is good for you in terms of personal stuff, but also in terms of work. Like if you're thinking of changing jobs, February is a good month to do it. And the first half of the month, if you're traveling for work, those particular relationships, those colleagues, those connections, like really value that, because those ones will go far. Whatever you're developing at that time will go really far. You'll have like a few moments here and there where you'll feel, I don't know about money, I'm not sure. But you will prevail, and I think it's going to make you smarter, because it's going to make you think about things in a different way than you have so far. But I would keep it to myself, because the way my notes say it is, if you push too much in terms of money right now, even if this is with a job and you want them to see your value, if you push too much with money, you may end up leaving the situation, the job, whatever it is, because they can't see what you can see about what's to come. And if they don't believe in your potential, you're going to get pissed, which you have a right to. So February, while it is the month to get clear about, get out of your fear, do the inner work in your head, figure out Are we still going? Okay, good. Figure out your own insights through your own process, right? Digesting all this stuff, figuring this out. That is a lot different than trying to convince somebody of your worth. It's more like you need to take the beginning of the month to figure out what's more important to you, and if that person is seeing your worth, instead of later in the month trying to prove your worth to people. It should be pretty obvious by the time you get to the end of the month. And if it's not obvious and you push to make people see it, there may be a breaking away of some kind. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't push it, especially not with the fiery ones. Because it's very real. You have some discontent about the situation in regards to money. It may have to do with partnership. It may have to do with whatever, but it has to do with money as well. It's just a focus this month. Now we come to the fun stuff. Let's do the sun. Now, if you're dealing with an Aries, there's that fire energy again. The fire is really working with you, but I'm not sure if they're just taking from you and going about their day, or they're actually adding something to your life, because it looks more like a taking, right? Probably feels like a taking as well. Let's look at the sun. With that Aries, I would do the same thing as the Leo. Don't encourage them. And if they're the ones that are having trouble seeing your worth, I would give them lots of space. Space is a good Aquarian tactic, right? Give them lots of space. They'll come around. Aries are having an interesting time with abandonment right now and self-sufficiency. So they have some karmic lessons coming their way. If you happen to be one of them, Aquarius, not your fault. Now the sun. In the midst of all that is talked about, ironically, there is a lot of good fortune coming to you, which is what's going to make all this dialogue about your worth and value and what you bring to a situation. It's going to make it even more of a moot point, but it happens later in the month after everyone has a chance to give their opinion on what they think you are. And then things are made clear as to what the reality actually is. The Judgment card, big card. Big card. Major Arcana, everything will be laid plain and made clear, and your value will be undeniable. But it's good to go through this process now of watching people give their opinions so you know exactly where you stand with people. People are really going to be dying to tell you the truth. Please listen. And more so, please don't take it personally. That's what I mean about getting into drama. Don't take it personally. Whatever someone's opinion is about your money situation, whatever someone's opinion is about how much you bring to the table, whatever someone's opinion is about how you're making all the progress that you're making, doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, what matters is what you're doing, right? Or how you feel, right? Okay, so let's put these here just so you can see everything. New setup. It's going to take a little while to get used to. And the extendeds get super messy, so if you haven't watched the extendeds, welcome. Things are told as they should be told. A time of rest or upset, depending on how you take what is revealed about you. This could be others reacting to your truth or you reacting to theirs. Only you know. Either way, it is a time of rest, the dead kind or the much needed kind. The 9 of Swords turning to the 10 because of what you find out, or the 9 of Swords turning to the 4 because of what you find out, because you take it in a way that's not personal. Regardless, the card of marriage, good fortune, stability, manifestation, very similar to the Taurus card there. So from the 4 of Swords to the 4 of Wands, whatever is revealed to you in a little bit of time will become one of the best things you ever found out. So we have the 3 of Swords here to the 3 of Wands, and then the 4 of Swords to the 4 of Wands. From heartache to rest, from plans of the future to the culmination and manifestation of the future. We loves it. We really, really loves it. Now, 5 of Wands. Oh, that makes sense. Doesn't it though? That makes sense. Let's see now what I have in my notes for you. There is such a chance of being misunderstood. It's like in big bold letters here. Misunderstood in terms of debt, misunderstood in terms of responsibility, misunderstood in terms of plans, just really simple stuff like, oh, were we going to go work out? Oh my God, I totally forgot. Wait, did we say we were going to meet there? Wait, what day is it? So just, there is a struggle. There is a struggle. It may be internal or external, but there is a bit of a push and pull going on. And it's from the looping to this. So you got to be careful when you're out and about in the world, because I feel like you guys aren't going to be paying attention as much as you should. I feel like you'll be really absent-minded and distracted because your mind starts playing this funny game like the 3rd week of February, where you start taking things out on yourself and being really mean to yourself. And then once you start doing that, you get so lost in your head that it's really hard for anyone to find you. Be brave. Be brave and be patient. When you're in that lost space, be brave and do the Bruce Lee thing. Write the thoughts down that are haunting you, and burn them. Or what he did, which is burn them in his imagination. He would imagine writing them down and burning them. And be patient, 7 of Pentacles. But also guard against the foolhardy when it comes to money endeavors. Be careful. Be careful. If it seems too good to be true, it is. Okay? So if you're going back and forth in your head about money and should I trust this person or no, hold off. Hold off. Okay, now let's look at the big ones. Let's do your card. Happy birthday. The Star. What does Aquarius need to know for their birthday season? Okay. 7 of Pentacles. Work hard. Keep your focus. The Lovers. Love and marriage. Love and commitment. Love and victory. Growth. Especially with someone who has Gemini placements. Stay focused though. Stay focused and keep pushing ahead. It is your movement forward and lack of fixed behavior that brings this about. Use your fixed energy for your work instead. The Gemini card here propelling everything forward, mutable air coming in and pushing you. The Lovers card, something that has to do with commitment. That's the Taurus card. That's the 4 of Wands, then the 6 of Wands. So this nice progression from the 4 to the 5 of Wands, which is the inner conflict, to the 6. We resolve ourselves, we get over the inner conflict, and we move forward. We move forward from a time that is no longer necessary, that seems worlds away. All right? Ace of Pentacles. Pretty easy, but let's clarify anyway. What do we need to know about this huge focus on money? Everybody wants to talk about money. Everybody wants to make deals. Everybody wants to judge. Yeah. Everybody wants to point fingers. Everybody wants to judge. Is it a vice, Aquarius? Are you seeing everybody's focus on money as a vice? Do you see money in general as a vice? Do you have a hard time getting into the whole let's accumulate a lot of money thing because ideologically it just doesn't agree with you, and you hate the way people utilize money or also look down on people who don't have it, but you also are realizing that your lifestyle is eating into your money and leaving you in a position that you're really unhappy with? All this focus this month is on these questions. And I'm telling you that your ideology and the ideology of others and what they expect from you, you're going to run into a problem. These are questions that are going to want answers. If you're dealing with a Gemini, let it work on itself. You work on you. It's working on it. It's all happening. Let's do Wheel of Fortune. So this windfall that happens after the big questions about money, what do we need to know about that? How do we prep for that? Sometimes when we have to look at the big questions, it kind of leaves us raw, you know, like a snake that just got its skin like peeled off. The Devil, the Chariot, there's that Capricorn Cancer axis, okay. And the Ace of Wands. So the Wheel of Fortune here is about you being really, really responsible. It's about taking what you learned in Capricorn season and applying it to the best of your ability, which is to be really responsible with money, really responsible about work, and really responsible about commitment. It's also about letting your emotions, that Moon in Cancer we had, really work on you and let you feel things. Ace of Wands, the opportunity that came out of that season is what comes to fruition at the end of the month. If you feel stuck until then, if you push that feeling, you will mess things up. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you are. And if you really, really insist on pushing things before it's ready, before it's time, patience is emphasized over and over again, then the Tower moment ensues. And yet if you wait in your power, the thing will come to you, however slow it is. And however fast you may want to go doesn't really matter. It's going to happen because you're patient. There's a lot of movement here, but there's a lot of conflicting movement. I'm sorry. 1 second. Hi. Sorry about that. It's my child calling insistently. So, there is some back and forth here. Excuse the wind. It's like 3 degrees in New York today. Aquarius season comes in with a blast of the cold, logical, and yet mystical air. So what's the takeaway? And what if you're dealing with a Scorpio after all? There's so much back and forth. There's so much messaging. There's so much emo. And that fire energy is there to pull you back into nostalgia if you let it. That emo, it's there. But what's the takeaway? Well, when there's so much focus being put on you, when there's so much focus being put on your worth, when you feel like you should be doing so much more because of that focus, because you know you have a plan now, because you know the direction you want to go in, because in your gut you can feel that everything is going to be okay, and yet people oppose you and they want to question you and they want to doubt you. How do you not start to flip out? How do you not start to get scared? How do you not want to just get away from everything and do your own thing, or maybe turn on people and be vicious back? Well, what I suggest, here, let's move this back even a little bit more. What I suggest is that you focus on what you know is going to happen as your season comes to a close, and use this season, instead of getting lost in your head, use it as a great way of being able to see what's going on in everybody else's head. Let them project onto you if they want to. Do you see what I mean? Let them give you their opinion of what you think what they think you are, what they think you're worth, what you bring to the table. Let them give you that first negotiating offering price. See where they gauge you, see where they put you. Stay external. Try not to go too internal this month unless it's to calm yourself after this big insight. But it's a series of insights that you continue to have, and I think it's gleaned from the behavior of the people around you. So just be aware that everyone wants to tell you their truth. That's what that judgment card hiding under there is about. Everyone wants to tell you their truth, and you would be good to receive it. And there is no reason to go back and forth in a situation that has to do with an earth sign that you have quite some connection with. They seem quite happy. You seem in your power. And yet there is a clash here in terms of ideology, in terms of speed, in terms of emotional connectivity. There is a new way forward for you, but it may require the end of what you have now first, or a changing of the nature of what you have now. Don't discount this fire energy. It's meddlesome. Be careful who you talk to and what you say. Tell your truth and let people tell theirs to you. But be careful how you word things. Things get around, and things are getting around, and things are being noticed, and you're being talked about. The eyes are on you, Aquarius. Be careful. Yeah? All right, well, that is your Aquarius season reading and your extended. I hope you liked it. When we get real heavy with the extended, sometimes we go through the whole deck. Generally, we do, but this seems about heavy enough, I think, right? And welcome to the new setup. I hope you guys like it. I'll see you in a month. Yeah? Check out the guided meditation and the podcast, both up tonight. And there should be a rolling merch shelf below where you can pick up the sweatshirt if you want. And there's a couple of more things up there now, like phone cases and mugs and stuff. All right, Aquarius. Love you. Happy birthday. Happy New Year. See you soon.